recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains. Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I am all out of bubblegum.
What's up, Blockers?
And we also have a very special guest via StreamYard, Mr. Talk Junkie himself, Justin Perkins. How's it going this morning?
And Retro Colt.
Doing good. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Dirty Dan, Rebecca, did you guys like to break last week?
No.
Honestly, it was, we got some stuff done.
Well,
it was
good.
all right.
Good.
You know, because the last couple breaks that we had taken, we were moving.
Right.
So
you didn't get to
like
have a break.
Busy doing shit. Yeah.
It wasn't a break.
Well, it wasn't a break for me. So, cookie factory business. The cookies were made. The honey buns were made. All that other delicious stuff was put out there. And I know I just butchered
This world
that
can't
word.
function without honey buns.
What's your favorite honey bun? Just the plain one or the frosted one?
Plain.
What are we talking about?
Honey
The
bun.
chocolate frosted one.
Now, I do like that. My wife calls it a bear claw.
Yeah, that's
like
what I was-
away from here, that's not what
not a
they
bear
call
claw.
a bear
No,
claw.
That's not a bear claw.
no, that is definitely a bear claw. That is definitely a bear
No,
claw.
it's an Eastern Kentucky bear claw, but the rest of the world, that's just
That's not a bear claw.
It's just a chocolate. That's just a chocolate.
It's a chocolate covered honey bun. No
Yeah.
different than a white.
And it's good.
The
It's
frosted
good.
covered.
That's all.
Grand Rising and good morning, everyone joining us on StreamYard. Glad you are here.
So,
Go ahead.
did we lose Goose? We're here. We're on Twitch. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Short Shit Show, and we're live on Queen Flocker because I lost my other account the other day. So.
Can you hear
Another
me?
one.
Another one bites the dust.
Am I still here?
You're very glitchy.
Okay. I was afraid that was going to happen.
I hear you.
Okay. I changed stuff around the studio and it's a little spotty. Am I still glitchy now?
No.
Okay.
You're getting better.
Okay. You want to go ahead and start with some email, Dirty Dan? And Justin, just please feel free to answer these with us. Normally, I would have you tagged in some and I would have sent you some, but we weren't too sure if you were going to be able to join us. So, Dirty Dan, please start away.
Excuse me. All right. So we have Chaz writing in. It says, greetings. Hello, everyone. My name is Chaz. December 21st, 2012 was the date the Mayan calendar ended. Most people thought the world would end, when in fact the calendar never said that. It was just an end. This is similar to our calendar ending each year. Anyway, do you think it did end and we are now in another dimension, or that they are off 10 years and are coming this December 21st and the world will go through some kind of happening? Thank you for your time, and I'll listen for your answer. Roswell.
Rebecca, we'll let you answer that first.
Because you're chomping at the bit.
I did not chomp at any bits. I can't really say too much on. I can't give away all my secrets. I think the calendar's man-made, right? Like our current calendar is completely fucking man-made. And if we were to look at the original moon, I'm not going to say, I don't know what the fuck's in the sky right now, but the original moon that like all of everything is based off of, the calendar is wrong. So the Mayan calendar is different, but I also believe 2012, we all jumped.
Well, most of us.
I'll just say that 2012 personally was a very rough year for me. Justin, what do you think?
For everyone.
I mean, you got to look at when that calendar was made. Like, how far did we expect them to go into the future? Like, it's amazing that they calculated it as far as they did, and without the zero, which they were one of few civilizations. Actually, they were the first civilization, I believe, to have the zero in a numerical value for it. They wouldn't have gotten that far. I think they just went I mean, that was a lot to work out to get to the date they got to. And I mean, they had thousands of years before they got to that date. So I think they just went, man, that's far enough, because it worked out on the cycle, the way they ran their cycle. I believe that had the culture persisted, they would have just added to the calendar and just extended it.
Dirty Dan?
I never believed the world was going to end in 2012. I just thought there was something more like that. So I agree with Justin. I think that if they would have been around longer, it would have gotten continued. I don't think they were like, oh, on this day, we're done. No.
I don't think it was like that, but I definitely think that it's like a whole, like there's like 2012 is significant.
I think that there was a bit of a not a coincidence, and you know, maybe if it would have ended 10 years before, it would have happened then too, and it's just because it was so prolific and long, and how much influence they had in the culture that is now today. I just think we manifested that.
Okay.
That just because there was a known end, that's, oh my God.
I hear you.
Rebecca,
there's also concern.
Rebecca, do you want to take the next email?
Yeah, I'll read the next one. This is from Elizabeth. Hello, I'm from Washington State. My name is Elizabeth. I was listening to an old show and you had mentioned Mel's Hole. I've researched this, but wanted to hear your thoughts. Again, plus it will give Rebecca and Dirty Dan a chance to share their thoughts too, being that they weren't on the show when it was mentioned. Peace and keep paying it forward. Elizabeth, thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Mel's Hole, that came about from an Art Bell episode. There was a guy that claimed he had this hole on his property. He lived in Washington State, and that it was like there was no bottom to it. And he put stuff down and would kind of, strange, mysterious things would happen. And some people still believe it. Some say it was a hoax. I'm leaning towards it's a hoax. Dirty Dan, have you ever heard of it?
I have.
What's your thoughts?
Florida lawyer.
Okay. Well, see, that's the same. Hell, it could have been the same guy that done the John Teeter story. How about you, Rebecca? And I just want to ask you, have you ever heard of Mel's Hole?
She's a nice lady.
Yes, we are juvenile in our comedy sometimes.
Oh my Lord. I remember it briefly. Like, I think you asked me about it like when we were talking about Antarctica the very first time.
Yeah.
You remember way back in the day when I was just a random person in your life?
Yes.
But I think with everything, like there's some truth to it. So maybe that one was a hoax, but somewhere there's a hole where things come out of it, like the Bermuda Triangle and eels.
Well, the story of Mel's Hole, too, after he did all this stuff, the government came in and actually bought or leased the property off of him, and they were dropping stuff down in it and taking stuff out and going down in it. Have you ever heard of Mel's Hole, Justin?
Yes. I'm not even going to say it. Dan's got me laughing. Just in passing, like, it's one of it went from kind of like an Art Bell thing to one of those internet mystery things. I'm sure by now it's a YouTube mystery thing. Like, I think it's neat because, like, you look at Letcher County, you've got the two spots over there that they've looked. They're not claiming anything supernatural in those two spots, but they're big, huge openings that they can't find the bottom for. More than anything, the one in the train track they can't find the bottom for. But the one that's up by the power plant thing they're making, they can't figure out where that water is flowing to that's however far down through there, because they've never actually been able to establish a depth. Now it's got a false bottom in it where so much stuff's falling in. But they've put the dye down there to try to trace that out, and that gives some credence to this huge cave system that's in the mountains there on Pine Mountain, because they, if us being from this area, we can think Mayking compared to Cumberland. When they dropped that dye in, like, it popped up out in Cumberland, and it was very small traces. So they think the majority of it went a different way. So that's wild. So, I mean, this guy very easily could have had something he couldn't establish the bottom of easily, so it happens from time to time. So I think it's fascinating to see that stuff. Like, even if it ends up not having some type of supernatural paranormal into it, like if that's what it takes to get that story out and get people talking about it, I think it's pretty neat.
If it's just a really, really deep hole, it's still cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you need, and there is some conspiracies. You mentioned Pine Mountain about it being completely hollow on the inside, and there's secret government labs and bases and all kinds of other stuff. Have you ever heard that rumor in the conspiracy theory?
I've heard that there was a base there. The biggest one that persists, at least, here for me when I was growing up, was the Native American cave systems and stuff there, and the Native American stuff that was buried there and stuff. And, with Angel Cave and all those different caves, there's a cave structure around that. I mean, there's some cool caves around it that the county is just, I guess, insurance reasons, not exploiting as far as tourism wise. But I definitely think there's a lot of caves under there. I mean, they believe that runs all the way from Mammoth Cave up and then up the entire East Coast.
And then down to inner Earth.
Well,
Possibly.
Justin, I wasn't aware of the one at the power plant at Mayking. We're going to have to take a trip to that one, and maybe
the only reason I know about it.
Trip?
Yes, you all are invited.
I'm telling you, that is a cool. Mammoth Cave is a cool spot. The only reason I know about the one at Mayking, it's definitely worth the trip. I mean, it is one of the most fascinating places. Like, I'm into that stuff to begin with, and like it's just a beautiful place. It is huge.
Put your walking shoes on.
I'll wear my toe shoes.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I'm going to take the next email. Firewater writes in. He says, "Hello, Goose, DirtyDan, and Rebecca, Queen of the Flock. Firewater here. I just wanted to drop a few lines and say, wow, what an awesome show. Having Oren on was definitely an added treat. That guy cracks me up. I hope you all do another segment about Antarctica too. I'm still trying to dig around here at work to find out more on what the company's involvement is with that ship in Antarctica. I hope that the added information helped Dirty Dan out. If you all need any more info, please let me know. Talk to you all soon. Keep on flocking. Keep on grilling. Roswell, Firewater." Yes, Oren cracks me up too. He's definitely a funny haha guy, and let's see. We will have an Antarctica too. And Dirty Dan, you sent me some pictures and an email. I'm not going to say anything about them. You can if you want to.
Can I just another thing, can we do a monthly, can we have a monthly Antarctica special? Like every month we do an Antarctica show, because we have had there's so many requests for it.
What about like every 2 months we do one?
Okay, fair enough.
All
Deal.
right. Sounds good. Dirty Dan, do you want to comment on the email that you sent me or not, or maybe later? That was fascinating, by the way.
It was. I'm not going to comment on it yet.
I was going to say, I don't know what type of emails and pictures he's sending you, but the ones he's sending me, we can't talk about on this podcast. I'm going to tell you right now. They don't call him Dan the Candyman for nothing.
Do you want a popsicle?
Dirty Dan, we'll let you take the next one.
I do want to just say, though, that this guy is 100% legit.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
he is.
And, yeah.
And if those pictures didn't confirm it, because I have been looking for more of that on the interwebs, and there is nothing like that on the interwebs in a facility. And then already having established with an establishment with that company for 12 years now, I asked someone, dude's 100% legit. So I'm excited to see what else we get and can do with him. Anyway.
I want to meet this guy.
I just want to smoke for him.
I will smoke with him.
All right. We got Brett writing in. He says, "Hello, here to you, Bubblegum. What do you do for fun or pastime?" Me, I'm a gamer. I'm into games. My favorite game would be Red Dead Redemption 2. When it isn't too cold, I like to fish.
Justin,
I'm not a gamer.
Justin, we'll let you answer that one first. What do you do for fun when you're not doing this?
It depends. I'm probably suffer from multiple personality. At this point in time, it's recording music. Next week, it may be hiking. The week after that, it may be jujitsu. The week after that, it may be talking to myself. I don't know. But at this particular moment, it's music. Music never completely goes away. Neither does the desire to do jujitsu, but everything else kind of bounces in between and maybe takes a little bit of precedence over them from time to time.
So in 4 weeks, it'll be talking with yourself?
Well, I mean, I do that every day, but that may be my main obsession in 4 weeks.
So in 4 weeks, everybody, listen for a huge amount of episode drops on Talk Junkie and Retro Cult.
I'm afraid I've lost everybody by this point.
Rebecca, you want to answer that? What do you do with help for fun or to pass the time?
Oh my
Just look
God.
behind you.
I do all of the things. Like whatever it is, I've dabbled in it. What are we on to now? We're building an empire. So, you know.
Dirty Dan.
Tonight we build fire. I will dance around it like the cult leader that I am.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
I said tomorrow.
No.
I would like to see Dirty Dan dance around it too, topless. That would be a great TikTok.
Let me send you the pictures I got.
Oh, okay.
It's not Antarctica, but it's south.
What? There's something you two want to tell me?
It's 50 days.
Okay. This is from Obi of the Strange. Hi, it's Obi. I just wanted to say that I enjoyed the show last Sunday. I listen each Sunday. I am looking forward to bowling on the show until I write back, Roswell.
Thank you very much, Obi.
Bolin has been on my TikToks recently and totally threw me and went into a whole thing about jellyfish and dysentery the other day. Like it was a thing.
Oh,
like,
yes.
We went all the way back to the Oregon Trail.
Well, we actually have an email from him this week, and I think Dirty Dan does as well. Go ahead, Justin.
I have a very long email for him for
Bolin won't run out of material. I met Bolin on the trail when we were probably in kindergarten. Bolin doesn't run out of material, so it's
you personally know Bolin?
I've known him my whole life. I didn't realize completely who that was when he started messaging you guys. He left Eastern Kentucky and went and got on the trail years and years ago.
Yeah, he dated Seth's cousin. Or sister.
No, actually, I heard that.
Well,
I heard that, and I talked to Seth. Seth is so far off on who this guy is, and I don't know how he don't know that.
Well, did you also listen about? Did you also listen about solar flares, Justin?
What?
Now, if you've not listened to the radio show here at Chew Bubblegum, you can go on our YouTube page and go back last week, and it's really funny. God bless Seth. We were talking about solar flares, and I asked Seth's opinion, and on solar flares, taking down the power grids. And his response at first was, I think gasoline is better to power cars and give you what you need. Solar energy don't work a whole lot. So,
he's probably like me. I'm so scattermined that sometimes I just get halfway in between a conversation and pick up. So he may have done that. But it just hit me again. Something that Rebecca said a minute ago when you asked her what she'd done, and she made the comment, working on building an empire. Like in today's world, with the opportunities and stuff you have kind of at hand, and with the footprint she's already made with the flock and stuff, that's a throwaway line 10, 15 years ago. You could say that, or if you did, you had to have opportunities that may not be afforded to you back then, but that's really a possibility now. And, I've thought about when I was doing the books, when I was doing the podcast and trying to push and do this and do that. And I just don't think that it's in me, but not only on the Here to Chew Bubblegum side, but on the flock side, I could actually see that being a possibility for you guys with what's out there because of the audience you've already got and the interest in the format
Learning
that
how
you
to do
guys
that.
push. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
And it's also like anybody can do this. Like I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna teach you what I know. Learn through my trial and errors, right? Like let's do this together. Like let's do all of this together at the same time. We're not gonna speak on that yet.
speak on what?
Whatever the fuck you're gonna say.
My TikTok?
Okay. Okay.
We are going to speak on it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Nope, I went somewhere else.
We are going to talk about later.
Oh.
We speak
I
your
finally
name.
found the secret to getting my TikTok
Oh.
exploded, because overnight I gained almost 400 followers and I had a video hit like 250,000 views. And all it was me beating the shit out of a used truck at a dealership, shifting it faster than automatic, and it went viral. Now I just got to do that more, and I'll be able to get myself out there.
Did you buy this used
You want to
truck?
tell them what else we're doing too?
Did you buy this used truck?
No, I made sure someone didn't buy it.
Oh, okay.
It was haggard.
I will say, let's see. That was what? Obi, thank you very much, Obi, for that email. Obi is from Nigeria, by the way. There is a surprise for Rebecca and Dirty Dan coming up later on that Mr. Cox himself wants to tell you. But like I said, I do have an email from him, and in that he said that he wrote you an email, and he has a very good suggestion, and hopefully we can do this next week or maybe week after next. With that being said, I'm going to run on and go on here and read this other email. UFO Smith says, hello, all longtime listener, first time writing in. Let's start with last week's show. I don't agree with all of it, but I did find the episode very interesting. Second, other than what was discussed on the show, what's something that we can expect on a part 2 of Antarctica? Before I close out my email, I want to tell you that I love the Bowling Cox clips that you played, Roswell. Now, and these emails were after the Antarctica show.
You figured.
Yes. So, thank you very much, UFO Smith.
I feel like he's written in before.
I think he has.
Because I remember that name.
I don't really know what to expect on part 2, stuff that we didn't have time to talk about during the first one. So
there's so many rabbit holes.
Yes, there
in
is.
Antarctica alone. I mean, we have material for days on Antarctica.
Yes.
What?
Nothing.
Dirty Dan, the next email is yours.
We have Reed writing in. Reed says, greeting, my friends. When I heard the show last week, I was a little disappointed at the beginning, but after I listened to it, I really enjoyed it. That was brilliant that you weren't able to provide us with a show, but still managed to give us a show. When I re-listened to it, I like when Goose says, this isn't the show we had planned, but it's the show that you're getting. I also love that. Peace and love, Roswell.
It's the shit show. You know?
Reed, I thoroughly enjoyed that as well.
Thank you very much, Reed. And I mean, I was sad and disappointed, that I wasn't able to, give you the show that we had planned last week. We're kind of doing that this week, kind of not. But,
Unfortunately, you and I both have jobs that are extremely affected by the weather.
Yes, we do. And Beautifully Calm, thank you very much for that comment that you just made. Thank you very much for that. Justin, did you get a chance to listen to last week's show? You were featured on it. If so, what did you think about it?
I'm not all the way through it. I'm up to not even the end of that first segment. Normally, I listen to that show every Monday on the way to work, and I have not listened. I've not been to work since before the snow, and I've not been out of my garage other than when my wife makes me for about the last week. But having said that, we've got 5 tracks almost completely done musically. But no, I haven't, and I'm behind on a lot of podcasts. And usually, like I said, when I'm on my way up on Monday mornings, I'm messaging you as I'm listening, and I haven't got to listen to all of it yet.
Rebecca,
Plus, I always skip the parts I'm on.
yeah.
I fast forward those.
Rebecca, you want to take the next email? And I think this is the first time this guy has ever wrote in. So.
So, can I just ask one question?
Yes, please.
Yes. Your name is there because of his name.
Did you do this shit on purpose?
No, not at all. Actually, yes, I did give you that one on purpose. Yeah. Actually, I give you that one on purpose. You are correct.
So this is from a new listener. Hello all.
Called.
No.
I had to.
Yeah,
go to school to
you
go
have
with
to.
my name was that. So
Okay, so this is from Cox Lover.
And Cox is spelled COX, like bowling Cox.
Yeah. Cox Lover. There you go. You want it again? One more time.
Cox Lover. Cox.
Hello all. I wanted to say that I love the Bowlin' with Bolin segment last week. Will this be an every week thing? Also, I noticed that a disclaimer was put on the episode. What happened? I need more Cox and ear candy.
Well,
I'm done. Okay.
It won't
Have
be
a great show.
It won't be a weekly thing, but we will be having those just as soon as Mr. Cox sends those to me. Yes, there was a disclaimer on last week's show. For some reason, when I uploaded the Bowling with Cox segment to the platform that distributes the podcast, when he got to a point where he was talking about killer alien robots, and he was naming some politicians and some names, it completely cut that part out. That has never happened before. I went back when I
and re-uploaded it,
and I re-uploaded it, and it mentioned up to Hillary Clinton and cut her out. So then I went back and looked at the same file again, and the file, when I edit these files, if nobody's ever edited voice files, you know, there's peaks and valleys and so forth. Justin knows what I'm talking about. There's peaks and valleys, and they were all there. That should have been there. So I uploaded it a third time, and it stayed. Mr. Cox was really upset, that people were trying to shut out what he wanted to say. And this is America, I would, and I told him, I'm like, look, if it don't upload this time, we'll upload everything straight to YouTube, and we'll send a link from the episode. But after I emailed some people that we upload our platforms to, it was taken care of and fixed after that.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You started. There was a delay. Go ahead.
Just on the name thing, he's had a lot of trouble with that throughout his life. And I notice he is active on Facebook for the first time in a long time. Like, I've noticed him posting stuff about the show. That's very unfamiliar for him. But there is a pronunciation guide. He has just kind of given up on that first name. The first name isn't actually Bolin. His father was fairly famous. He doesn't publicly claim Bolin, but Kenny Rogers is actually his father, and he's named after Kenny's great grandfather, Ballin. And the name is pronounced Ballin. It's Ballin Cox, but he's given up kind of on the pronunciation.
Now, I told him he looked like Kenny Rogers, and he laughed and he said, "I've heard that before." Now I know why he laughed and said, "I've heard that before." And then I joked around that he looked more like Kenny Rogers than he did Buck Rogers. And I said, we may even have a contest to see if you look more like Kenny Rogers or Buck Rogers.
Let's specify though. Kenny Rogers pre-surgery.
Oh yeah, nothing looks like Kenny Rogers now. I don't know what that is.
Well, if anybody wants to see Kenny Rogers now, they need some shovels. Oh, come on, man. That was funny. Come on.
He probably looks exactly the same. I'm sure maggots don't eat plastic.
Oh, okay. Moving right along. Felix writes in, I have a question. It just doesn't apply to human females. Do you guys think that male creatures pass more gas than female creatures? Yes, I realize that this is an off-the-wall question and out-there question. Let me explain. I'm a 24-year-old college student in Tennessee. This question arose in my biology class, and my professor wanted me to get other people's opinions. I don't have a lot of friends or family. I am a fan of the show and have listened since last February. Please help me with you can. Rebecca, we'll let you answer first. Do females or do males have more gas than females?
Definitely males. Definitely males. 100%.
Dirty Dan. No.
He's going to agree with me. He's got to fix the sound over there.
I thought he was going to get up and like bend over and fart near the microphone. I was going to say, you don't have to show me.
Oh my God.
So,
why?
yeah, see, I told you he was going to do it.
I think females have more.
All right. Justin?
Just based on personal experience, two things I take away from that. One, I mean, I definitely am worse than my wife. And two, honey, there's no colleges in Tennessee. They are completely taking advantage of you.
I think it depends on what you eat and your digestive health. So,
My mom was a volunteer, so hopefully she doesn't hear this one.
Sorry, Mrs. Dan.
Mrs. Dan?
Sorry, Mrs. Meat. Sorry, never mind. Dirty Dan, take the next email.
Jesus Christ.
Will you just read the email? God, it takes us. Go ahead. Never mind.
The banter is what the people come for.
Go ahead. You don't need to look longingly at me. Oh my God.
I'm supposed to read it out loud. That's right. We have a trail member writing in. It says, hello, everyone. I hear you, Bubblegum. I wanted to say that bowling with Ballin was great.
Now, see, you changed it to ballin'. I'm still going to call him bowling because bowling with bowling is catchy.
I think he's gave up on the pronunciation. I mean, like I said, I don't know that he even pronounces it that way anymore himself. But that's originally, as a young little lad, straight out the sack. That's how he pronounced it.
Yeah, bowling with bowling.
He was born in a bag, Dan. He was born hard. They didn't have a lot. He was literally born in a burlap sack. There was nothing dirty about that.
I was going to ask what his mother's sack or his father's sack first.
I think Kenny had his reconstructed, so I don't know.
It was more of a designer bag.
Rebecca, you've got the next one, and I want to hear everybody's opinion on this one.
Hold on, my thing's fucking. There we go. Okay, this is from Jenny. What are your thoughts on the recent? Is it
Jenny? Oh
no, it's
Tonga volcano tsunami.
Tonga volcano tsunami. Do you think it was natural, man-made, a bomb, a crashed UFO, or an asteroid? Roswell. It looks like a fucking bomb went off. That's where I stand on it.
Dirty Dan.
I mean,
it looks like.
I kind of had a Beirut image in my head, like the magnitude of the blast. So, I don't think it was Mother Nature. Definitely think it was. Man had a hand in it. It was a bomb. Same with all of the other volcanoes erupting. If you looked at it on a map, it was set up like a fucking grid. That's not natural. It's not natural.
Justin, what's your thoughts?
I'm partially embarrassed to say this, but I mean, I said it earlier. I've been locked up for about a week focusing on stuff. I haven't even said. Somebody mentioned it yesterday, and I just know that there's something about a volcano and possible tsunamis, and that's all I know. Like, right. I really don't know anything about it.
I agree with Rebecca.
I'm not proud of that.
Well, I agree with Rebecca and Dirty Dan. I think it was a bomb as well, because even last summer there was video and news stories out on them dropping bombs over certain parts of the ocean. And people were saying, oh, we're just testing this and testing that. But I think it was a bomb as well.
Someone sent it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You see that, Justin?
Do what now?
You see that picture of Mel's hole? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Mel. Yeah, now that you say that, I know Mel.
No. Oh,
So
She was a nice
I
lady.
mean,
Justin.
if you can see it from space, that's a pretty good. Yeah, I see something in the comments. The rod of the gods.
Yeah.
The weaponized thing. Like that is something that always fascinated me because I look for that to be the next place they weaponize is space. So that's if they have, that's highly possible.
Well, space has been weaponized since the mid 80s, Ronald Reagan Star Wars project.
Well, true, but like I don't know a whole lot about that project.
Okay.
I looked at it that they were trying to get to that point, and obviously now we have Space Force, but I wondered, how advanced we had got, and it's hard to tell. Like I said, I've heard y'all discuss it many times. We may differ a little bit on how far ahead we think the government is than the civilian population. They're definitely ahead scientifically, which a lot of times equates to weapon wise than we are.
Let's see. This email, this is the last one that I have, and I think Dirty Dan has one as well. This is from Bolin, Mr. Bolin Cox. Dirty Dan has the main email this week, but I was on the Tickety Talks earlier with the Queen of the Flock, and she expressed she had questions for me. Well, Queen, I have answers. I was thinking maybe we could do a midweek moment where I answer one or two questions for anyone with the curiosity. It would be my pleasure. Whatever you guys decide to do with me is fine. There would even be time we could do a live Q&A. You guys talk it over and let me know. Roswell Bolin Cox. I think we need to try to get him in a segment on the show, or maybe record a segment for the show where he's doing a Q&A. And what do you guys think on that?
I am 110% for that.
Oh, buddy, when he drops some news on you, you're going to be really, really excited. So, yeah. But I promised him, and I just recently found this out, and I promised him I would not share this with you right now, that he wants to be the one to do it. But I did tell him that I would tease you with it. So,
well, I wonder if I'll get any hints out of this long ass email. So we have the wonderful email from Mr. Cox, and it says, "Hello, gang. Bolin here. I hope everyone enjoyed my first segment of Bowling with Bolin on killer alien robots. And if you've not listened yet, please do so when you have time. I must say the entire clan was real happy to see and hear me soaring across the airwaves, and to be honest, they've been treating me like a celebrity out here on the trail. I can only thank Goose, DirtyDan, and Rebecca for allowing me the time to run that off at my mouth to people out there that undoubtedly need to hear my message. Even though there was a clear sabotage to try and censor me from the get-go. The Clintons. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I can't go forward without formally giving another special thanks to my good pal Dirty Dan. His cooking tickety talks helped Marcia Sue Jane with the gold ribbon at the trail's annual cook-off, and I must say, now that I have my very own tickety talk account, I had all kinds of feelings when I seen him bite into that wiener, and the way he squeezed it made all those moist juices run out of it. Dirty Dan, you really know how to handle your meat. Rebecca's lucky gal." Not much else has been going on other than work and shaking off the holiday hangover. I have been flipping through the great Mama Mabel Irene Blanche's Lost Journal, and the more I read, the more I'm convinced that even back then there was an abnormal amount of paranormal activity on the trail. Some entries just see to be average daily activities, and then I run across one like the one I've included below. Buckle up. January 23rd, 1844. Today was no ordinary day. I was walking back home from Willie's today, and the strangest thing happened. I think I may have blacked out. It's like I was transported to another world. Flashes is all I can seem to remember. One flash stands out in particular. I could see a family gathered around, huddled together, and they were speaking into strange equipment not of this age. They seemed to be having some kind of tournament, and they seemed really spooky. One of the family members seemed to be in a rage, screaming into one of the devices, exclaiming, "There's no way Clubber should have made it this far." Then, without warning, I'm transported by a flash back to the trail. Only now I'm home, and I'm standing over a mess of hot, buttery flitters. Willie is at the house, too, and I had lost a chunk of time. I asked Willie quickly what happened. How did I get here? How did he get here? Willie just looked at me like I had lost it. Maybe I did. All Willie could do was stare at my flitter. Maybe my memories will eventually come back to me. I sure hope so. This is also strange. Boodle boodle for now. Folks, sounds like the great Mama Blanche might have time traveled. What do you guys think? I can only speculate now, but I will keep you further updated as I turn more pages. Until next time, Roswell. P.S. Here at the Cox Cabin tonight, we are having meatloaf for dinner. I can smell the aroma now. I would do anything for a big, hot, piping plate of meatloaf, but I won't do that. And quick shout out. R.I.P. Meatloaf.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
It's no longer a hot summer night and the beach is not burning.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Bolin Cox, for writing in. And, I wonder if Kenny Rogers and Meatloaf ever met and if they got along.
I could see that, I mean, I could see them getting along.
Before we move on to close this segment out, I have some voicemails I'm going to play this week. And typically, I have not played these, but these were too good to pass up. I have two of them. They're from the same person. After they were sent early this morning, about between 3 and 3:30 this morning, and then they sent a text. And the text says, "Do you like my messages? I hope you did. More will come later. Mystery caller." So here are the two voice messages that was left on the Here to Chew Bubblegum show phone. I don't think these are legit. I think he's got them somewhere, which is fine, But here is the first one.
I have called you 5 fucking times. 5 times. This is the shit that pisses me off. I don't want to hear you had your fucking ringer off because you already know how that situation goes. If I call you, you don't fucking answer. That's the shit that pisses me off. Now, if it was a fucking emergency, you got your fucking ringer off and you can't hear shit.
And that was the first one, and I cracked up when I heard that.
How did my wife get your number?
I have well, we give it out each week. The show phone number.
It's true.
So
several times every episode.
And this next one, I am glad that I was not drinking anything because I laughed until I cried over this next one. And here it is. Again, this is from the mystery caller.
I'm getting fucking tired of you ignoring my fucking calls. We have a kid together. You need to come pick up Jerry Jr. It's been 3 years. I'm tired of this little bitch. He's eating all my damn cereal, drinking all my fucking milk. Come pick his ass up now!
And those were from the mystery caller. And if you want...
My wife and Dan both looking for me.
If you want to call, text, or leave a voicemail, it's simple to do. All you have to do is call 606-373-3396. Again, that's 606-373-3396. And thank you very much, mystery caller, for providing those. We look forward to getting more from you. And Dirty Dan, how can they email us?
They can email you, Goose at here@chewbubblegum.com. They can email me, DirtyDan at here@chewbubblegum.com. They can email Rebecca at here@chewbubblegum.com. They can email into the show at here@chewbubblegum@yahoo.com. And our special guest can be emailed at talkjunkie@gmail.com.
Oh, very good. Very good. You guys, Justin's on a time crunch. Let's move on into segment 1, if that's okay with you guys. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right.
Isn't that what's next?
Dirty Dan,
my singer, that's why I've been preoccupied. My singer just canceled. He's not feeling good today, so don't rush
okay.
for me.
Okay, so you don't have to take off at 11. Okay, good deal. What do you guys want to? We've been going about 45 minutes. Do you guys want to take a break or keep on going?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you want to hear about 2022 being a turning point for UFOs or UFO Watergate first?
Either one you want to get our ear candy going. Just give us some ear candy, man.
You're no help. All right. So 2022 could be a turning point in the study of UFOs. Interest in UFOs continues to grow, both among scientists and government officials. In 2021, there was an upsurge of peculiar sightings reported, thanks to people with smartphones or other video gear that captured these strange glimmers in the sky, like myself. Could those unidentified aerial phenomena be satellites, technology developed by foreign governments, falling space junk, or maybe even floating specialty balloons or purposely faked unidentified flying objects? Or could they be, well, aliens? What if Earth has been on the receiving end of extraterrestrials speeding from the Alpha Centauri who found themselves lacking brake fluid and crashed into New Mexico? Many of these objects are ultimately identified. Others, however, remain mysterious. Nonetheless, in 2022, UAP will get more attention, and from both the scientific community and the federal government, experts told Space.com. In June 2021, the U.S. military and intelligence community issued a report on UAPs. As we know, we were all let down by it. It was followed by congressional urging to establish a formal office to carry out a coordinated effort on collection and analysis related to UAP. Our national security efforts rely on aerial supremacy, and these phenomena present a challenge to our dominance over the air. Staying ahead of UAP sightings is critical to keeping our strategic edge and keeping our nation safe, Senator Kristen Gillibrand said, when announcing the inclusion of her UAP amendment in the $768.2 billion National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2022, which was signed into law by President Biden on the 27th of December. Although the new office within the Pentagon, called the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group, will not explicitly focus on the search for alien life, it will be, however, tasked with providing a full spectrum of intelligence as well as scientific and technical assessments related to UAPs. One of the new UAP office's responsibilities will be to implement a plan to test scientific theories related to UAP characteristics and performances. So what now? For one thing, there's a concerted effort to build UAP spotting hardware and to decide where it will be stationed. This year will, more likely could be, a turning point in the study of UAPs and UFOs.
There's definitely something out there. I mean, if you've got a government that's spending all that money, there's definitely something out there. If you create a space force, there's definitely something out there.
I wonder when we're going to get an ocean force.
I don't think that'll happen in our lifetime.
Why do you intentionally set me off?
Justin,
what'd you say, Goose?
I don't think we'll have an ocean force in our lifetime.
We already do. It's called a Navy, bro.
I'm just saying, like, how come we stopped? How come we stopped going into the ocean? Did we stop or did we finish? Like, if we take right, like if we look at the opposite of everything, if we've only explored 5% of the ocean, then have we already like looked at all of it and they don't want us to know? That's why we're like, oh yeah, no, don't go down there. Don't do that.
It's a cold, dark, wet hole.
Are we talking about mail again?
I feel like, what? Never mind.
He asked if we were talking about mail again. Justin, what's your thoughts on all this government, that they've got a special office and they've publicly not had an office to investigate UFOs since Project Blue Book. There may have been some, and I think there were some behind the scenes that we never knew about, straight up, specifically. What's your thoughts on this, on them pumping all this money in there this year?
I think Rebecca's got something big. Go ahead.
That comment, though, what if the Space Force is the ocean force? As above, so below. If space is water and we're in a bubble and the Bermuda Triangle, like, if the sky's blue because this is the floor of the next realm, and it's, never mind. Yes, I agree with you.
That's a very good comment.
To me, anytime they acknowledge anything, like, obviously there's an ulterior motive, like public perception's a big thing for them, but still, like, I think at best case scenario, they're just so worried that it's going to go so completely public that they at least got to have some type of step ahead of it. Or you look at it as they're trying to get your attention from something. Well, what are they trying to get your attention from that's big enough for them to admit it? So, like, I think there's definitely something to them coming up with a public office. Like, I think it's just a matter of they're not sure about what they can hide anymore. And something I have meant to bring up the last time I was on here and just forgot. I'm horrible with dates. I can't remember exactly when, but I'd never really seen anything. I had when I was younger that I thought was kind of weird in the sky that I couldn't explain. But that's when I was a lot younger, and looking back on it, I can kind of rationalize what it was. My wife had an experience that she never has been able to explain, and gets irritated when I try to explain it because, I didn't see it. So, I guess it's kind of frustrating for me to sit and try to armchair quarterback that. But I went to the studio with you. This is before Christmas. Maybe it was cold, maybe quite a bit before Christmas. I met my wife after we went and got something to eat, and we were on our way home. We were where the old, I don't guess that's anything out of it, but where the old Allen Central was.
Right.
And as we were going, we saw a shooting star. We were going towards Perry County that way, so it was going in that same direction, like a reddish color. Green, and then faded into green and stayed green. But it was a really long shooting star. It went for a really long time. But just to be completely honest with you, that's what it looked like, and that's what I assumed it was. We both saw it. We thought it was neat. And, it's not as much as it faded out as it went over a hill. The very next morning, which would be a Monday, I was headed towards Williamson up that way into West Virginia. And as I got where Deskins used to be.
Right.
Coming towards the bowling line, I seen the same exact thing going the opposite way, but this time it went from red to orange and stayed orange. Now it was still dark out, but it looked the same exact way. It looked like a shooting star. And just thinking about it in my head, I was like, well, it's odd that I seen the same thing, but maybe it was a meteor shower or things of that nature. But just the longevity of the flight, because usually a shooting star is just quick. Neither one of these faded out. Both of these went out of view. And, the second one being orange, okay, maybe it's high enough up that over the horizon it catches the sun that makes it orange. I can see that. But the one the night before going red to green didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'd never seen a shooting star that wasn't white. Now, I'm not saying that is anything. I don't know what it was. But I was curious if anybody ever seen anything like that, because I've not. And it wasn't like what I thought, even the stories I hear of like a traditional sighting, like it really looked like a shooting star. There were just a lot of things to it that to me, it didn't register that way, especially the length.
I've had two sightings. My first one was in 96 and then one last February of 2021. They both looked... Well, the first one in 96, I was really close to it. So you really couldn't tell what shape it was, but you could see different colors. The one last year was triangle shaped, and it had the colors, as you mentioned, red and orange and so forth. And it even changed to white. There was like, 3 white lights creating a triangle, and then there was a really like brighter one underneath. And there's no doubt in my mind that was a TR3B. Dirty Dan, you and Rebecca have had some experiences here lately.
Mine had lights on it, and it would flash, but then it also disappeared. Like it just straight disappeared and would reappear and disappeared, reappeared. Completely quiet when it went over. Not a sound. I think it had white and green on it. There wasn't any red, or orange or whatever. It was just white and green. It wasn't a triangle shape.
It was definitely a square. Like it was like there were 4 lights. Like it was a square.
See, mine was I assumed so far away that I couldn't make out distinct shape. Like just for all intents and purposes, everything minus the color and how long it was there kind of seemed like a shooting star to me. But and even saying that now, thinking back, like how long do you see a shooting star? It's just a second, and it's gone. So to compare it to that, I guess you're really, in a lot of ways, comparing it to what your ideal of a shooting star looking like is, because when something stays visible for that long, you're so far past that point of what you generally see with that. But I think the fact that, just the three of us, in the last little bit of seeing it much, if they are trying to get ahead of something they know that's coming, that could be a good reason for it, or something they're doing, because if sightings increase and get amplified to that level to where, we don't live respectfully close together, really, the three of us or four of us, as far as that goes, y'all are in one box, so you got stuck as one person. But like for us to see that, granted it may be in the same part of the country, like still, they may be trying to get ahead of the game.
I got one question. Go ahead.
No, go.
Are y'all familiar with Fort Boonesborough?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
Right.
Well, I say that I'm familiar with where it is and I've been there, but
I have been there several times.
So, have you been to the state park or the actual fort?
Both.
not the forest, just the state park.
I have even been down been down the little back roads on the riverbank.
Why is the fort now guarded with several gates set up at the entrance and 2 Humvees?
I didn't know that.
I
lived in Winchester probably 2000, early 2000. And I mean, it really wasn't a big deal at all. That place didn't seem to be like you could just go out there and kind of roam around a little bit. Like, I definitely don't remember guards or anything back then.
The fort, the National Forest is still open, but the entrance to the fort itself now has a giant metal fence around it, like the perimeter, separating it. And there's 2 Humvees sitting out there. And I pass that quite frequently now because of road calls and whatnot. It's easier to get to 64 that way from where I'm at in Winchester. And it is not just sitting there empty anymore.
Wow, I did not know that. We will take a break, and we'll come back. And when we come back, we'll start out segment 2 with recent UFO sightings. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with special guest Justin Perkins. We'll be back in just a moment.
The world was on fire, and no one could save me but you. We're strange what desire will make foolish people do. I never dreamed.
Hey everybody, it's John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. I have a new podcast entitled Beyond the Paranormal, which is on every Tuesday night on Beyond the Paranormal YouTube page, and we'll be streaming shortly on our Facebook page as well. If you want some information on the paranormal and cryptids such as UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, come and check out Beyond the Paranormal every Tuesday on Beyond the Paranormal podcast YouTube site, and also soon on our Facebook page. Keep checking back, folks. We're going to have a lot of great guests, a lot of great information. Have a good one.
This does not even deserve a captain's log introduction, because this is dead serious. The inside and outside tour I did a few months ago of my house, everyone on the internet, my mother and my father are angry at me. They're blaming at me. It's my fault. I admit it's my fault. I want everything about my house off the internet. I'll send in detectives. I'll send in police. I'll send in everything in my power to get it off the internet.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Shut that goddamn thing off. I don't care what you do. You get all that stuff off of there tonight.
I'm working on it.
Go work on it.
I am
Do
working.
you realize something? Let me tell you. If the health department of Greene County sees those videos that you put on the damn internet, they could condemn our house and we would have to move out of it.
I see.
You go get that goddamn stuff off of there and fast.
I'm working on it. I was making a YouTube video for you to tell everybody to get the images off of the internet. It's out of my control.
Oh, you get them off.
It's out of my control. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go.
loaded them up there. You unload them.
I'm working on it.
Go do it.
I am doing it. I'm sorry.
Get in here and do it.
I
I'll be up all night with you if I have to. You won't get any sleep till that stuff's on.
I'm working on it.
Get in there and start.
I'm working on it. Let me do this stupid video so I can tell everybody at my command to get everything, help me get everything off the internet about our house.
I don't want to get kicked out of my house by the health department. And what you just did was stick a knife in our back and kill us.
All right, let me just...
Get that stuff off of there.
I'm
Get it off of there fast.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So yeah, please get everything off of the internet now. Curse the trolls. Peace to everybody else.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. If Abraham Lincoln were alive, he'd listen. But he's dead.
I would do anything for love. I run right into hell and back. I would do anything for love. I'll never lie to you, and that's a fact. But I'll never forget the way you feel right now. Oh no, no way. I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. No, I won't do that.
And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. We hope you enjoyed that little song that brought us back. I can't remember that lady's name. She is a singer from Ireland doing her rendition of Meatloaf's I Would Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. Did anybody ever figure out what that was? I guess not. Oh, well. Before we move on here in segment 2, and me and Rebecca talk about some recent UFO sightings, did you guys see the news article last night of the truck that was hit in Pennsylvania and there was 100 laboratory monkeys escaped?
Only 4 of them actually escaped.
Okay. All right.
They spilled out.
Okay.
Only 4 of them escaped.
All right.
It was from the other day, and I had to go over that with her and the Tiki-Takity people.
Okay. Well, one thing that I found interesting in the article that I read, and it was from the New York Post, it said that the CDC were aiding local officials, and then it in parentheses said, in a technical aspect only, to capture the ones that escaped. Why would the CDC come in and help local officials technically, just be technical support?
Aren't they being used for testing?
Yes. They were being used for testing, which I totally disagree with. I think our pedophiles should be used for testing, not monkeys.
So, do you really want me to create an uproar and hopefully start a movement to make this shit stop?
Yeah.
Well, yes, please.
I told you about last night.
Yeah, I know. We talked about this already.
So, back in my trash truck mechanic days, I had to go through an extreme amount of security clearance to get into Merck Pharmaceuticals because that was one of our customers. And, when there was a breakdown there, obviously there was very, very few people that were allowed to come in and do anything. I was one of the fortunate. They have an entire farm there of domestic and exotic animals that they either bring in or they breed and raise to use for testing. I mean, they had literally, it was like 56 acres for 12 or 14 horses alone. They had cows, they had sheep, monkeys, rats, dogs, cats, bunnies, everything.
Well, I still think, and I'll say it again, I think, if you're going to do tests, all right, and you're ultimately going to give this stuff to humans, test on convicted pedophiles. Test on them. They're real humans. You don't have to have an animal, a poor defenseless animal. Do it on the pedophiles. Do it on your violent murderers that have no remorse, that have, I've looked in people's eyes before, and I'll say this and get off my soapbox. There's been 2 people since 2000 that I have looked in their eyes and I have saw no soul, no remorse, nothing whatsoever, just black.
Yep.
You know, experiment on those people. What's your take, Justin?
Oh, I thought I was one of those people that had no soul. I agree with you. I mean, the whole ideal scientifically is get the best match possible. If you're looking for something you're going to use on humans, you need a human, and the court system does not allow for execution of pedophiles. So I say we probe them, stick things in them, whatever we need to do, and
I know that
use
for a
them.
fact.
So I want to address. I completely agree with both of you. I also fully support that pedophiles need animal therapy. They need to, it involves horses drawn and quartered out in the middle of the street. Like, I'm totally for it. They killed an ex-employee that was speaking out at Merck, and it was on my live last night. Was it Sadie that said it? I can't remember.
No.
But I think it was Sadie that Merck is slang for kill.
I did not.
It is. A merc is slang for a mercenary.
Oh, okay. Yes. That makes sense now.
Yeah. And they are not nice people there.
I mean, and before we go on here, I just find it very odd, and alarm bells going off, that the CDC was involved in trying to capture these monkeys.
It's because they've already been infected and they're going to the labs to be tested on and whatnot. Like, it's very rarely.
It's fucked up.
Very rarely will they be infected, at least in the trials, in the same spot that they're then tested, because part of that test is the transportation, seeing how they fare in an environment change and see what that triggers, what kind of reaction that triggers. It's very common. So. Merck is not a nice place.
Moving on to some recent UFO sightings. Rebecca, I'll go first if that's okay with you. And what I found fascinating about these the first two that we'll do is they were close to the same area. What are you laughing about, DirtyDan?
He changed his name.
Oh. Kenny Rogers, what?
You're muted. Your mic is not.
Kenny Rogers, touch me.
Sorry. I had to switch. I was trying to do it on my iPhone, and I could not hear you guys. And I finally got my laptop back going. Sorry.
Kenny Rogers, touch me. Do you want to show us on the dial where he touched you?
Actually, if I could figure out how to do it, I have a very interesting picture. I know a lot of people think I probably made that up, but I actually have a picture that would kind of prove what I said earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we would like to see that if you could pull it up on your phone and hold it up, or just
let me see.
Okay.
I have no screen sharing abilities on streaming. I can share my screen, but I can't give it to you.
Well, I tell you what, let me email it to you, and then, you can.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, send it back to the Short Shit Show email if you could, because that's the only one I have on this computer.
Okay. Speaking of Kenny Rogers talk, every time I hear that name, I just go back to him joining Jeff Foxworthy and then singing Islands in the Stream.
You were singing Island Boy last night on the counter.
I was, just for Goose.
Oh, man.
I'll have to record it for you.
Yes, definitely. So you secretly like that.
Right up against the island
it's because
counter.
She had the tickety talk started in the kitchen, and we have like an 8-foot by 5-foot kitchen island.
It's huge.
And maybe 6 foot. It's fucking big. So she started, she was like, yeah, our island's huge. And then said something about me. And so I just came up against the island and I was like, I'm an island boy.
Did you see and I'm sure you saw it because you sent it to me, the video of one of the island boys getting the shit beat out of him by his girlfriend?
Yeah, I sent it.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I laughed at that so hard.
Yes, that was very funny. Let's see. While Justin's figuring that out, I'm going to go ahead and read the first UFO case that was recently reported, and this goes back to December 21st, 2021 from Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a flying object caught on video. The story goes, we were driving to the grocery store. When I was turning into the parking lot, I saw a black plane or helicopter. I wasn't sure what it was since I was driving, but when my 15-year-old daughter and I both, we saw 4 lights hovering in mostly the cloudless evening sky. There was some high, thin clouds, but no inclement weather. There were 4 circular orbs that hovered silently. We parked and immediately got out of the car and began recording with her iPhone. And you can see these videos and read these cases for yourself by going to UFOcasebook.com, or you could just search UFOcasebook.com. And again, that one was on December 21st, 2021. And Rebecca has the next one, and it was actually captured in the same state, not far from Cincinnati, on my birthday.
Goose, I'm an asshole. I didn't realize that these were
hyperlinks.
Clickable.
Yes, they are clickable.
I didn't realize they were clickable. So this one is one of the videos that didn't have any information. We don't know what the footage was taken from. We do know that the footage was taken from a moving vehicle and taken by the submitter's son. You know what I can do is I can forward this and then I can play these videos.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. And that one that Rebecca's talking about happened on December 22nd, 2021, and it was caught in Marion, Ohio, which is not far from Cincinnati.
Hold on a second, Goose. Let me. I just got Justin Perkins. Oh my. Allow me.
My son sent me a text here. It's pretty funny.
Just think we should all appreciate that moment right there.
Well, now that was pre-surgery, Kenny, and that was them doing a benefit with Dolly Parton. That's when, right around the time that Boland first met Kenny.
Jesus Christ.
That is that's definitely proof. They do look alike, but they're dressed like Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
All right, so we have this here now, Goose. And so here's the first one.
Uh-huh.
Maybe. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
all right, let's watch the second one. Oh, wow. Okay, we are just... What the fuck?
Hey, it happens. Are
any of these workable?
Yeah. They all should have been workable because I took it directly from
Google,
the website.
So I am on Chrome. So. Google is blocking them. Okay, let me.
Now, I honestly I find that a little bit weird.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Now let's do the thing here.
Oh, that is wow.
So. And I actually watched one of them. I can't remember which one it was that I watched.
The one Rebecca just read. Holy shit.
Well, I haven't really watched anything yet, Dirty Dan, because I can't.
He was watching it on his phone.
I can't get it to load on here.
Wow. See,
it's about to get worse because Google bought DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
I can't watch them.
Wow. Well, see, we had the thing with Mr. Cox last week, him getting censored, but we got that took care of and got that this week.
And I'm on DuckDuckGo.
I got the people.
That's bullshit, though.
And that was the one from Marion, Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I mean, that one is probably one of the best ones that I have saw. And there's one in Germany, too, that was taken last year. I can't remember when last year, but I mean, that is just unbelievable.
I'm a little blown away still that I can't fucking view these. I'm even on DuckDuckGo.
And still can't view
And
it.
I have all the shit. I don't understand why this is a thing now.
If anybody in our audience that has a search engine that they use that is not affiliated with mainstream media or Google like DuckDuckGo used to be, please reach out to us and let us know what that search engine is. Because
I'm trying to watch a video that Goose sent me and it keeps saying error 404, page not found. And on both of my computers through several different search engines.
And it's definitely there. So we can make the links available on Telegram. I will make a note on that right now and we'll post it.
If I can just send that, I can just forward that the whole thing. I can send it.
Okay. Yeah.
Copy link. I got it on Telegram right here.
We will put those up on Telegram.
If anybody else can get them to work.
Let's see. While you're doing that, I'm going to move on. Also on December 22nd of 2021 in Bakersfield, California, an unknown object was videoed over Bakersfield. I was just hanging up a picture and I saw across the street what looked like a police car shining its lights on an apartment building. I grabbed my mouse and I clicked on it and started looking. It was strange. I could tell that the location, I could tell where the location was. And then I called my girlfriend in the room and showed her. I told her to see if it was really this or I was tripping. And you can see that video as well. And again, that one's from Bakersfield, California on December 22nd, 2021.
I can't view them.
Wow, and
this is blowing my mind right now.
I told you I told you on the Pandora thing, there's all kinds of little hot spots where people listen close to Area 51, so there is no doubt in my mind.
You still got to send me that map.
I will. I've not had time to do anything hardly this week. Coming up in a couple of weeks, if everything works out tonight, I will be interviewing Pete later on this afternoon, and we will have his story of the Paintsville train versus UFO incident that happened in 2000. I can't remember exactly when, 2002, I think. And we will have that coming up in just a couple of weeks. But it's going to be fascinating. Rebecca or Dirty Dan, do you want to move on to the recent UFO sighting from January 7th, 2022?
Well, I don't have the email.
I have it. January 7th. I was flying along so this is an airline pilot captures UFO at 39,000 feet. Flying along at 39,000 feet in Airbus A320 somewhere over Georgia. Took out my phone to take some photos of the beautiful Milky Way using a new iPhone 13 Max Pro. I tried to take a video of another aircraft flying just above us, the opposite direction at 40,000 feet. As I was filming this aircraft fly over us, I noticed this V-shaped object appear. It appeared to be between us and another aircraft. And the other aircraft.
I actually watched that video too. That one is, I think that one is U.S. government owned. The V-shaped is still a design of the TR-3B, like an updated version. Justin, you saw pictures of the TR-3B, correct? I've showed you those, I think, didn't I? What's your thoughts on the TR-3B? I mean, and then you can even go look. I mean, and people can say, "Hey, that's Photoshop," but then you go look at the U.S. Government Patent Office, and the same exact thing that was in the pictures is described.
Oh, I think it's not going to explain every UFO sighting, obviously, but I think from it really getting more prevalent in the 80s up to now, it's probably responsible for a lot. I mean, it's pretty clear cut. They have that aircraft. Actually, they, well too, that they've now got the Predator, the successor to that aircraft and moving forward with that technology. So, you look at how long it took us to find out about the stealth, and even from the point we found out about it, we still don't get to see it that often now.
No.
So now the word's kind of out on this TR-3B. Well, what have they got to replace it? And we're still not really getting to see the TR-3B publicly. So, and that could be going back to why they come out and now they've got this public office and stuff. The one thing that myself and a lot of people have always asked, we're in the technology age. Why are we not seeing more videos of these craft if they're really out there? And now it seems like ever since the government was like, yeah, there's some stuff we can't explain, a lot of those videos are making it out. So maybe they're not censoring them on social media. They're not censoring them in different places. And you're seeing a lot more videos, credible looking videos, not, what's the Billy guy from Sweden? Not his pictures. You're seeing actual credible looking pictures.
Yeah, you are. And the last one that I've got here, and again, this was from UFO Casebook. You can find these and the videos. This one happened in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is typically not that far from where Rebecca just read hers at. And this one happened.
No, I saw this one on Facebook the day it happened.
Okay.
Can you pull this one up for me? So I'm literally still struggling to watch this, and everybody else is telling me that they can view it on DuckDuckGo and Google, and I still cannot.
Wow.
Also, side note, Bolin Cox right now is on the Tickety Talks.
Oh, hey, Mr. Cox. Welcome to Tickety Talks. Glad you're on there, sir. We've had some great feedback in our first segment, the listener email, about bowling with Bolin. On January 8th, 2022, a UFO was caught on video over Orangeburg, South Carolina. I went out for a smoke and took pictures of the front yard. As I see frequent UFO activity and like to record it to have proof. I have seen many UFOs that were far off, but this was the first time anything has come this close. The craft came from the tree line, pulsing multicolored lights. After a few seconds, 2 orbs came out and began to pulse / blink red. It was like they were trying to mimic a large aircraft. However, I worked on C-17s in the Air Force, and I know that this was no aircraft. These crafts were moving slow towards the neighbors and disappeared into the trees. And, we're getting more and more sightings, and we've talked about this before, especially pilots. Before they wouldn't mention stuff like that. But it seems like that they do nowadays. They do mention that.
Well, I think that it's been to look down upon to talk about it, and then you got people like Commander Fravor coming out, a very, and I've heard people in the UFO community say they think that maybe he's doing this on behalf of the U.S. government. Even if he is, like, it still seems like it's allowed even private pilots, especially commercial pilots, because they were looking at possibly losing their pilot's license, and now it's becoming more acceptable for them to talk about. So I think that you're going to see a situation where you do get more credible witnesses, and it's not that the credible witnesses weren't there, it's just maybe the way they were treated. And I can't sit and say, and this, he's not a pilot, but to me this is a good example. I can't sit and say that I'm losing my mind completely. What's the guy we were talking about the other day? The guy that worked at Area 51 back in the 80s and come out? Bob Lazar. Wow. You look at Bob Lazar, like, I can't prove anything he says, but it does seem to be a fairly convincing story. And let's say that everything he says is true, and they were able to erase all that. And let's say you're a pilot, and that's what you do for a living, and you're coming up in the same time. Are you going to risk coming out and saying something, like he did, and have everything erased and taken from you? So maybe we're getting to a point to where these people can speak out and not worry about careers and what people think about them.
I hope so, and I actually think that we are getting to a point like that, and rest his soul, Bolin Cox even talked about it, last week on his segment, Bowling with Bolin. Harry Reid was really at the front of the pack trying to disclose stuff, and, you can go research some of his stuff, and he had some verbal arguments with some powerful people, over trying to get the truth out there.
Yeah.
Dirty Dan, Rebecca, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, we've talked about that before with the pilots losing their license and whatnot, but then I found that article where it showed like UPS and FedEx Freight. All them freight guys are the ones seeing 90% of them because they're the ones that are just always in the air, no matter what. There are so many more of those flights than commercial flights, and that flying V one, like I mean, it's
you're speechless.
They're right.
Yeah,
they're right. Like you can't deny what you see.
You're totally right. Rebecca, do you have anything in segment 2 here that you want to talk about or share with us? Or
I want to talk about the fact that like getting canceled, getting taken down, getting silenced. I mean, it's just, it's constantly an issue, and even now so more than ever, I think, especially with how prevalent social media is and how fast and obvious it is. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty clear. I mean, especially on TikTok, you post a video that goes completely against the narrative. That is your own thoughts, your own experience, your own opinion. And because somebody doesn't agree with it, or because it violates some fucking bullshit, constantly changing guideline, they take it down and they take the whole account away from you. And you don't even, there's no appeal process anymore. It's like it's guilty without a chance to be proven innocent at all. Just immediately done. And it's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating to, I mean, I'm on account fucking 16.
Wow.
Like it's frustrating. And now it's a principle. Now they're not gonna win.
Exactly. Don't let them win. Back in the I guess 50s, 40s, 50s, when everybody believed more of what the government said, I could see businesses doing that. And I'm not talking about the internet because it didn't exist back then. I'm talking about newspapers, reporters, maybe trying to defend or help the government or, stuff. Now, I don't believe that they should have, but I think they may have. And, you move forward to where we are now. Why would businesses, and that's what it is, TikTok is a business, Facebook's a business, all these social media sites are businesses. Why would they be worried about trying to defend and take up and this and that? Because supposedly nobody owns the internet. Supposedly nobody can shut down the internet. Supposedly.
They're not supporting the government. They're supporting a radicalized idea. They're not the government by definition doesn't need support. The government's it's a thought, it's a theory, it's a course of laws and action that people put into place. So the government doesn't need defending. If anything, the government needs questioned and pushed at every opportunity. But it's not something that needs to be defended. But social media isn't. They're not defending the government. They have a narrative and they want to push their beliefs on other people. And it's pretty well split 50-50. So they're not really losing. One, they're not losing people by alienating them by thought process, because you're still got 50% of the audience. Actually, it's probably less than that, but you got the very vocal 50%. And secondly, there's no other real option. And that's not so, like, I know you guys are on a lot of different platforms, but a lot of people, myself included, like I can't take myself out, are lazy. I don't want a new system. I don't want to do this, new that. I'm constantly like, just out of principle, you should delete Facebook. You shouldn't be on there. And if anybody knew me in the past, like I was big about that. Actually, just in what time I've really got to know you guys is the most I've ever been on social media. It's always been get on for a week or two, take 2 or 3 months off. And I think COVID and lockdown changed that for me and got me on there more. But they're not protecting the government. They're protecting a financial investment. That's like CNN is a prime example of that. I know it's not social media, but it's kind of how it works. The same people producing the controversial shot that everybody's talking about is sponsoring every segment on CNN. So Sanjay Gupta can't get on there and say anything contrary to the narrative that they have to push, because this is who is paying their bills. And with Facebook, not only can Facebook determine who has influence, but they can decide based on their own personal beliefs where they want that influence to be placed and who they want to have it. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I, for years, didn't believe in reporting anybody, and I still don't. An average person, they can post anything they want that they don't agree in. I don't report it, but I'm not going to sit and lie to you. I was a huge fan of Vice. I report stuff Vice puts on there all the time now. I report stuff CNN puts on there. Any of these large companies that put stuff on, if I cruise by and see it, I don't even take the time to read it. I just report it. That way it just goofs with that algorithm. It gives Facebook something to do. Gives them something to look into. But I think people are getting tired of that. And I use this example because it's an example I don't agree with. So therefore I can use it to prove a point that I don't believe in. Morgan Wallen, a gentleman I don't care for at all. If he got hit by a truck tomorrow, it doesn't bother me. And I know that sounds awful and people hate when I say stuff like that. I don't know him personally is what I mean by that. That's my weird way of saying I don't know this guy. I've got nothing invested in him.
Listen,
I don't care for his
girls alone.
Yeah, I don't care for his music. I don't think he's talented. I don't think he deserves the success that he's had, but we live in a very commercial world, and that is what it is. So saying that I have nothing for him, what he done was make a mistake. And, I wasn't raised to make that mistake, but have I done other things just equally as bad? Yeah, of course I have, especially when I was drinking, because I drank for a really long time. I've only been sober for about 7 years. I did a lot of other things too, and in that time made a lot of bad decisions. So he makes one mistake, and they want to cancel him. He had one of the biggest selling albums, of his career, his shows or something. My wife went. I went to the Isabel show. She went to the Morgan Wallen show. And on the other hand, I have no respect for what Isabel's doing in his attack on Morgan Wallen, because this is a guy that was a drug addict and alcoholic for years, who I know made numerous mistakes and has apologized for them numerous times, but he's not looking over this guy's one mistake. Right. So people are tired of cancel culture. And this guy is an example of that. People have rallied around this guy and said, no, you can't cancel him. And I don't think he should be canceled. The
problem is that they're so tired of cancel culture, they're trying to cancel culture.
That's true. And I can see that. And that's not good either. You're right. You've got to let just people say what they want to say, regardless of what it is.
You're trying to take two propane torches and use the other one to blow the other out, and it's just making it bigger.
Just leave it be. If it's not yours, don't fucking touch it. It's day one of driver's ed. Stay in your lane. Like, I don't understand the problem. It's not that hard. It's very simple. It's free to fucking scroll. If you don't like it, scroll.
Every time I ever learned something new, it was from something that I didn't know anything about. And if I'm canceling everything I don't know anything about, how do I ever take the time to learn something new?
If you can't argue both sides, then your opinion is uneducated.
It's like the bad taste I have in my mouth for defending somebody like Morgan Wallen, just on a musical level. But I feel that that's the right thing to do. It's like, I look at it like this. Somebody makes fun of people from Eastern Kentucky. I defend your right to do that. Do it all day. Somebody is a white supremacist. I defend your right to do that. If somebody is a radical communist, I defend your right to do that. I want to know who I'm talking to, and I want to know how far off we are belief structure wise, because to me, that's more dangerous. The people that are willing to hide it, and sneak it in.
But at the same time, you're also going to do that because it doesn't matter who you are, what your beliefs are, what your views and opinions are. You could still have something important to say that I don't know and I need to hear.
True.
Or at the very opposite end of that, they could just be that ignorant and dull, and I know that I don't need to hear you now.
I just need to hear you say I love you, Dan.
I love you.
Yeah. We were getting serious and getting in deep, and then the juvenile comedy brings it back there.
Sure.
I have a real problem with censorship. I mean, I may not agree with what you say, but I'm going to fight like hell for your right to say it, because that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, that's more than canceling people. I mean, that's common decency and respect. I mean, and in today's world, a lot of people just don't give a shit. I mean, they really don't care. And it's a sad, sad world that we live in today.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Rebecca, do you have anything to say before we move on to Dirty Dan?
I just mind your business. I mean, it's real simple. Like, just You know, stay in your lane. Like, can I live? You know, can I just live? It has no effect on you. Anyway, go ahead, Dirty Dan. Floor's all yours. I'll be quiet.
Dirty Dan, what do you have for us here in segment 2?
The Pentagon's new UFO office worries some ufologists. And I gotta say, I like how that the picture they have of the Pentagon on this story, you can't see the side that was hit, and it doesn't look rebuilt. Anyway.
Another time.
Just before the new year, the Pentagon established a new office that will study UFOs, or unidentified aerial phenomena, as they're now known, and report its findings to Congress. However, the move, the most significant UFO legislation ever passed, is contentious to many in the UFO community. This is a subject with a probable history of secrecy, and anything that lacks a new openness about the information is subject to more, possibly inappropriate control. Ron James, a spokesperson for the Mutual UFO Network, which bills itself as the oldest and largest UFO organization in the world, told NBC. We don't see that this means new resources will be dedicated to the matter. What we believe is that considerable resources have always been dedicated to the matter at some level inside deep government and industry. UFologist Stephen M. Greer told NBC News that UAPs shouldn't even be considered a national security threat worthy of special Pentagon attention. Louis L. Donato, a former government insider, which we've had stories on before, who helped spark renewed interest in the UAPs by publicizing video from military aircraft, wrote in an op-ed in The Hill that the Pentagon's decision to place a new UAP office inside the office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security could mean 70 more years of secrecy on this topic. El Zanato also told Hill that he's not convinced that burying this issue in the deep, dark bowels of the Pentagon under an intelligence organization is the best way to shed light on a topic that needs a whole lot of government approach at all. Instead, he likens that UFO problem to climate change, about which the government has brought in and relied on outside experts. Meanwhile, lawmakers who spearheaded the legislation, like New York Democrat Kristen Gillibrand, argue it brings new resources and legitimacy to the investigation and tracking of potential national security threats. Our national security efforts rely on aerial supremacy, and these phenomena present a challenge to our dominance, Gillibrand said. The United States needs a coordinated effort to take control and understand whether these aerial phenomena belong to a foreign government or something else altogether. And we've talked about that, where I guess it was when we were talking about the tapes getting leaked from the naval aircraft carrier out in the West Coast.
Yes.
And them saying, well, is it the Russians? And the Russians going, well, is it you guys? Like, I don't think it really presents a threat as much as it does confusion. And that can either cause two things I see. Is one, everybody's going to go gung-ho and it's going to turn real bad real quick. Or everybody's just going to stay so baffled that nobody has a fucking clue how to go about their business from there. And as long as we view it as a potential threat, like that, for dominance instead of just safety, I think nothing good, educational, or movement-wise is going to come from it. If we look at it, as I said, from a safety standpoint, I do think that it presents some concern, legitimate concern for any air travel. Not so much because of them, but because of us. We are too, generalizing here, simple-minded to be able to just ignore it or go about our business. And, you know, just like that other plane, a pilot is recording at 39,000 feet on a cell phone while flying a plane full of people with another plane just 1,000 feet above them. People don't realize when you're moving 500, 600, 700 mile an hour, 1,000 feet can disappear real quick. So say they did have an autopilot malfunction, or, you know, it was his turn to be flying and not the co-pilot, and something happened, that could have had a midair collision right there. And because they were distracted about something flying over them or in between them. Like that's my concern on that. Not so much dominance in the air, because let's face it, it just takes one scientist to create a better jet engine or some sort of aviation piece to make someone better than us in the skies. not that hard. Well, relatively speaking, it's not like it takes that much time, devotion. It's not going to be 30 years of studying and then all of a sudden, boom, we're left in the dust.
Right.
There are breakthrough things that happen all the time on everybody's part. So I think they're almost a distraction. Like she says, that they're worried about the dominance rather than just the safety. It's not a dominant thing, especially if it's an outside force. It doesn't fucking matter, because if it's an outside force and we can't get there, but they can get here, clearly they have the shit that's going to allow them to not be the issue. They're not going to cause a crash. They're not going to cause the issue. It's us being, oh, look, a squirrel. And,
Justin, do you have any story or anything you want to add here in segment 2?
I agree with Dan. When a mass of people are afraid, they react, and a lot of times they comply. Like if you're just looking at something, anytime you're learning something or finding something new, you take the time to think about it and dissect the situation and kind of study it and react in a different way as opposed to fear. When you're afraid, you become a little more compliant, and self-preservation kicks in.
I totally agree with that. And a classic example of that would be the Patriot Act after September 11th.
Yep.
I mean,
we agreed to being under communist control without knowing it.
Yeah. We definitely did, and we agreed to a lot of stuff without knowing what was in there, but we just went for it. Dirty Dan, I see you on your phone. Are you texting, or are you sexting, or do you have something else for us?
Oh, if he's sexting, I have fucking questions.
It's just adjusting.
Well, see,
I've seen this before.
Justin.
It's just never in the light.
I'm looking for
looks bigger on the phone.
Oh, I just, speaking of Justin's comment there, I just had this thing because I saw a meme about this, and it said, "What aren't people talking enough about?" And someone replied, "How 70 to 80-year-olds are generally regarded as unemployable due to mental decline and skill mismatch, yet they're exclusively running this country."
Yeah.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, mic drop on a meme right there. Like, god damn.
I think Dirty Dan may have been using his phone to look up something for segment 3. And I got this idea from Reed where he, does share a lot of positive thoughts and emails and quotes with us. We're going to end this segment and close everything out. But I want each of us to share a positive thought or a quote with us and to the listeners and viewers. And Justin,
Rebecca's got a whole book for it.
And Justin,
oh, this goes by the day. So I have January 23rd today.
We may be distantly related because, if I hear a quote or I think of a quote of my own, like I sit down and write it down all the time. I actually do it I've got a copy of, it's like a replica of the book from Beetlejuice, the guide for the living or guide for the newly deceased. But so you want a quote from me?
Yes, please. Give us a positive thought or quote that you find beneficial that has helped you or you think can help somebody else.
Okay. Let's see. Loyalty to petrified opinions never yet broke a chain of freed a human soul in this world and never will. Mark Twain.
That's a good one. Rebecca?
This is from the Everyday Mindfulness book, and this is by John
Kabat-Zinn.
Thank you. The best way to capture moments is to pay attention. This is how we cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness means being awake. It means knowing what you are doing.
That's a good one. Mine is from a Three Doors Down song. It's a quote that is actually, it is a line in one of their songs. It's actually, why are you making a face, Dirty Dan, when I'm setting everything up here and you're making a face?
I'm just waiting to see if I know what you're going to say because I feel Three Doors Down and Nickelback share the same kind of view. And it's not 2013. People just need to admit that they made some fucking bangers already. All right.
Okay. Well, anyway, in 2014, I was in a very, very dark place, probably the darkest place I've ever been in my whole life. And I was listening to this song totally by accident. I think I was listening to it on Spotify, and it just came on random. But this song was so profound. It meant so much to me. And I can't think of the name of it. But there is a line in the song that says, "Your mistakes do not define you. They tell you who you're not." And even to this day, that quote from that lyric from that song means so much to me. So, I want to encourage everyone to remember that your mistakes do not define you. They tell you who you're not. Dirty Dan?
Mine just comes from within, and all I want to say is just smile at someone, because they don't know what you're going through, but you don't know what they're going through.
Definitely.
Change someone's day.
Definitely. Well, Justin, thank you very much for coming on and sitting in. You are welcome anytime. We're glad you're here. It's a little bit odd having you join us online and not being here in the studio, but I am so glad that you were able to hang out the whole show. I'm sorry your singer canceled on you.
It happens.
But you are family. You're welcome here anytime. Do you have anything to plug or tell us about before we wrap things up here?
No, I'm just happy to be here. It's good to hang out with you guys. I enjoy talking to you. It makes me miss podcasting, and not enough to do it on my own again, but I enjoy this, and I really, really thank all y'all for having me on.
You are very welcome. Don't forget about Bitching with Bertha and Cooking with Dirty Dan. Hopefully,
Scaring the Queen now.
And Scaring the Queen. Yeah, I've actually saw some of those. Hopefully, very, very, very soon, I'll be on Bitching with Bertha. Dirty Dan, do you want to tell us about some things?
Yeah, so I am still trying, and we never did that one last night with Joe. I wanted to get a hold of him for today, but hopefully we can have it by next week.
It's Fed Up Gear. He does. I have a exclusive with him. It's called Flocking Fed Up. So it's in the links. Just click the
Fed
things.
Up Gear. It's a USA owned, made small business. They are a huge supporter of families in need with veterans.
Patriots. What are you talking about?
Fed Up Gear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There we go.
So if you want to check them out, what is it? FedUpGearOfficial.com.
Sure.
I think that Fed Up Gear Official.
It's in the links.
It's in her
links. Just click the things.
Hopefully, I'll actually have something from him for next week.
But we're gonna do a Here to Chew Bubblegum merch.
Do some Here to Chew Bubblegum merch with them too.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
And all you listeners out there, you'll hear it on the radio show. If you guys have any organizations that are good for the better of humanity, that are a support system that just help spread the message and awareness through any means or do good, please get a hold of me, DirtyDan at HereToBubblegum.com. The more information you can send to me for contacting, the better, because I can hopefully get to them quicker. And I would love to be able to shout them out at the end. We don't expect any money or anything. A couple of them have sent shirts or stickers or merch and whatnot, which is great, but we're not asking for anything other than permission to help spread the word about them. So it's DirtyDan at HereToBubblegum.com. With that being said, don't forget Till Valhalla Project. It's TillValhallaProject.com or TVP. Go over to YouTube, check out Adventures with Purpose. Go to their website, AdventuresWithPurpose.com. And then the brainchild of a guest who has been on the show several times and will be returning soon with more is DJ Nikki's Carbon Capture Shield. That's lawn.carboncaptureshield.com.
Thank you very much, and I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work, and be sure to check out and support friends of our show that have their own shows. I'm talking about CK and Uncle Bill over at deadpit.com. Talk Junkie with our guest for today, Mr. Justin Perkins. You can also hear him on Believe It or Not with some other guy. Don't forget about Jordan and Brad of Down on the Holler, Seth Amberg of Seth's Daily Podcast, Elliot Gertie and Beagle of SpookyFamilyPodcast.com, the Mountain Mysteries Podcast with Chris Sloan, and if you're a fan of Cronkite, he now goes by Paranormal Trucker, you can hear him, Snowman and Large Marge, over at Paranormal Trucker on YouTube. And Beyond the Paranormal Podcast with John Marshall can be heard and saw and seen and all that good stuff every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you're from Eastern Kentucky, or if you're a fan of South Park or animation comedy, be sure to check out Holler Hills. That's HOLLER, Holler Hills on YouTube. And if you want to awaken more, be sure to check out Rebecca Short on TikTok and Twitch. I don't know why the hell I said Switch, but be sure to check her out. We have several different accounts. And
there's no point in even telling them anymore because I'm constantly changing them. So keep up. Keep up.
I do want to thank everyone that is listening, everyone that is watching. Thank you guys very, very, very much. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving.
Maybe I'm just going home.
I don't have any pants on, Dan.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.